Ojo the Village Dullard.
The village of Oka was located in a very small land. Life there revolves around agriculture. The people depended on their crops for survival, yet they faced endless struggles with outdated farming methods and unpredictable weather. Oka village is located in the hottest part of West Africa, and it has always been a challenge to the villagers. Year after year, they toiled under the blazing sun, only to harvest barely enough to survive, let alone train their children in school. And so the school was actually meant for some families who believed they had enough from other trade. The village's one pride was its school, community college, where all the youth of Oka passed through in hopes of a better future. However, for a boy named Ojo, the school was a place of ridicule and humiliation. In the village, the children always have this tradition of going to the school very early in the morning, every school day, to sweep and tidy up the school environment. Ojo the Village Dullard, a label everyone knew him by, always find it difficult to stay with the other children, especially during this sweeping exercise. In fact, Ojo's name was used to compose a song where all the children sang and make jest of him. But Ojo will only smile around it and will never raise his hand on any of the children. He was warned by his mother never to fight anyone in the school. Teachers mocked him openly in class, and students snickered behind his back. Ojo, you should stop wasting your time here. Go and help the women carry their yams to the market, or go and help your poor mother in the farm, his math teacher sneered one morning after he failed to solve a simple problem. Laughter erupted, echoing through the thin-walled classroom. But amid the jeers, one person believed in Ojo, his mother. Mama Ojo, as she was fondly called, was a widow who had seen enough hardship to last a lifetime. Her husband had died in a tragic farming accident years ago, leaving her to raise Ojo alone. Despite the village's mockery, she refused to give up on her son. She loved Ojo so much and believed in him. Ojo, my dear, she would say, holding his face tenderly, don't listen to them. God has given you something special. You just need to find it. Her words were his only solace. One fateful day, during a particularly harsh harvest season, Ojo was humiliated in front of the entire school during a cultural day celebration. The principal had asked each student to present something they had learned. When it was Ojo's turn, he stammered and froze, unable to say a word. The crowd erupted in laughter, and the principal dismissed him with a wave. You're wasting space here, Ojo. You belong in the fields, not in a classroom, the principal said, shaking his head. That night, Ojo sat on the edge of his mother's wooden bed, tears streaming down his face. Mama, maybe they're right. I'm just a failure. I can't amount to anything. I don't want to waste your money again. Mama Ojo took his hands in hers. Failure? No, my son, you're not a failure. The world just hasn't seen your light yet. But they will, Ojo. They will. Her unwavering belief reignited a small spark in him. The next morning, Ojo made a decision. He would leave school. But he wouldn't give up on himself entirely. Instead, he would turn to the one thing his village depended on, farming. He would learn everything he could about agriculture, not to survive but to thrive. Ojo, coming back from the school that very day, helped a woman convey her goods to the market with a barrow, and never stopped thinking and reflecting the thought of his math teacher when he said he should just quit school and start helping people with their goods to the market. Could this be my destiny? The thought couldn't cease as he walked to the market. Leaving school was both a relief and a challenge. His mother was never in support of him leaving school, but after all she could do, Ojo's mind was already made up. The very frustrating part was the first day Ojo went to the farm with his mother. The villagers behaved convinced they were right about Ojo, laughed even more. Finally, the dullard has accepted his fate, they said. But Ojo ignored them. His mother was thinking of the shame it could bring to their family, but Ojo was thinking all about his peace and happiness. His mother, in a bid to encourage him and make him happy, sold her only piece of jewelry to buy him a second-hand smartphone, which became his lifeline to the outside world. Each time Ojo went to the farm with his mother, he would always ask so many sensible questions and discover so many new things about farming. Using the phone, Ojo began researching farming techniques late into the night, soaking up information like a sponge. Months turned into years, and Ojo's dedication paid off. He experimented with composting, crop rotation, and irrigation methods on a small patch of land his mother had inherited. He faced countless failures, crops that withered, tools that broke, and neighbors who mocked his efforts. We have tried all that, but it didn't work. Even your teachers who see you as a dullard couldn't solve the problem. Do you think you can solve it? Yet, with each setback, Ojo grew more determined. One day, while watching a video about modern farming equipment, Ojo had an idea on solving the major problem the farmers always encounter. What if he could create a simple machine to help farmers in his village? Most of them couldn't afford expensive machinery, but perhaps he could design something affordable and effective. Driven by his vision and passion for change, Ojo began sketching designs for a multi-purpose farming tool. He called it the prowess, a device that could till the soil, plant seeds, and irrigate crops all at once. With no formal training, Ojo relied on trial and error, using scraps of metal and spare parts from abandoned bicycles. His first prototype was a disaster, but his mother's words echoed in his mind, "They just haven't seen your light yet." After months of grueling work, Ojo finally created a working model. To test it, he invited a few skeptical villagers to watch as he used the prowess on his small farm. As the machine roared to life, effortlessly preparing the soil and planting seeds, the onlookers' jaws dropped. This is incredible," muttered one elderly farmer. Word of Ojo's invention spread quickly, and soon, villagers who once mocked him were lining up to see the prowess in action. The local chief, impressed by Ojo's ingenuity, arranged for him to present the prowess at a regional agricultural expo. At the expo, Ojo's invention caught the attention of investors and agricultural experts, who marveled at its simplicity and efficiency. They offered to help him mass-produce the device, and within a year, prowess was being used not only in Oka but in neighboring villages as well. Ojo's success transformed Oka. Farmers who had struggled for years saw their yields double, and poverty began to decline. The village's children, inspired by Ojo's story, began to dream bigger. One day, as Ojo stood before a crowd at the unveiling of a new agricultural training center funded by his earnings, he spotted some of his former teachers in the audience. One of the teachers approached him afterward, the math teacher, head bowed. "Ojo," he said, "I was wrong about you. You've done more for this village than any of us ever imagined." Ojo smiled. "You didn't see it, sir. But I always knew I could do something great." Ojo's journey from being the village dullard to a celebrated inventor taught everyone a valuable lesson. Others may see your weakness, but only you can discover and nurture your strength. His story became a beacon of hope, proving that true potential lies within and can only be unlocked through perseverance and self-belief. Never give up on yourself. No matter your age, background, or location, your life holds immense potential. The opinions of others or the challenges you face do not define your worth or limit your future. You have a unique purpose, and the ability to make a difference resides within you. Remember, even in the darkest moments of Ojo, there was a light of hope and possibility. Rise above the negativity and believe in the power God has placed in you. Keep moving forward, because the world is waiting for the greatness only you can bring. Stay strong, stay inspired, and never give up on the beautiful story that is still unfolding in your life. Subscribe for more inspirational stories.